Today's Thursday, the 4th of May. Last night I walked away after milking pretty late because one job I wanted to get done, and I do every year, is to service my tractors in around this time of year. The 7.6 is okay for now, it doesn't need it for a while. I just give it a basic check over. Sorry about the wind, it's very, very windy today, hence the reason I'm trying to block it here with the shed. I don't know if it's working or not. But the 54 got a good service, yes, got a full oil change, and it just went through the whole thing, greased it all down, and then late last night we give it a good wash. We're going to mix 2 of these tanks here that are very, very full at the minute, and then our cows will be finished in our meadow today, and tonight after milking I'm hoping to get that meadow fully slurry, because the weather is due to change, and not change for the best either. Tomorrow they're talking about heavy showers in different places, mightn't come here at all, but after that they're talking about being a little bit more unsettled. So I want to get that field slurry, because if it gets damp at all, with the way that it is, it'll just be mucky and clatty, and I don't want to make any kind of a mess of the fields if I can help it. So tonight I'll get it done. Once I have these mixed, just ready to hook the tanker on, about 2 hours, and we'll have the job done. I'm a wee bit surprised. That tank is very, very thick. We took a lot out of that tank, and a lot of rainwater went into it. So I'm hoping it's just a hell of a thick crust on the top. Anyway, there's no cattle in here, by the way. There's no cattle in any of the sheds now, so it's safe for us to go and mix. So let's get doing that. Milk. It's just gone 7 o'clock there now, and I have the 7.6 here on the slurry tanker just sucking out the first load. So my hope is, it's very like rain, but my hope is we'll get that meadow done before the rain comes. The wind is easing slightly. Sorry, that drone footage is probably horrendous, because the drone was getting flung from one side to the other and was getting more warning lights. It was unbelievable, telling me to land right away because of the wind. Probably very overcast as well. Nice covering here on the whole way across the field. It's getting more and more like the rain all the time. I don't know whether that's because it's getting dark or whatever, but yeah, I don't think we'd be going to this field tomorrow if we hadn't it done. Right, we're down in a different spot here. I'm just after spraying some lubricant on that door for a good reason, which I'm going to explain now very shortly. But this is an area you've probably never seen before, and it's a little shed that sits at front of my house, actually, at the very bottom of our lane, the bottom of our front field. And I actually have never been in here in the last 6 or 7 years, I've never actually opened that door. I don't think any of us have opened the door. I'm the only one that really be down here. The kids don't really want to go near it because they think there's somebody locked up down here, and that's the reason the door's always closed. But there's nobody locked up, not that I know of. No, we're not at that stage of life yet. Boyfriends haven't landed. But there is something in here that could and should be saving us a lot of money if I get my backside around to doing something with it. My father wanted to get a well in this place. There was no mains water at the time, and a well was lots of wells on most farms, and he wanted to get one in. It was one of the first things he wanted to get done, so he got a fella around who divines wells. The guy was walking through, my father was telling me, the two lads that you carry, whatever, the diviners, crossed straight over when he got to this exact spot, and he said if you dig down about 11 foot down there, you will find water, a good supply of water. So a digger came in, and there is a lid there. We're going to uncover it now and clean it up in a minute. And 12 foot down, exactly 12 foot, they hit a rock, and out of that rock sprung up the water, and it was a lovely supply of constant water. So my father got liners fitted in the whole way around it, 12 foot deep, the same width of the lid that's on it there. Liners was fitted, and that supplied water to our farm for a long time and our house for a long time. It was lovely spring drinking water. I don't think it was ever tested. That time people just, if it tasted alright, it was fine. But I remember drinking it up till about 10 years of age, and I remember on a hot summer's day it was just so cold and refreshing compared to the scheme water that we're on now. But unfortunately, look, the pump, we're going to show you it all now very shortly, but the pump gave up and we never done anything with it. It's not so much that it gave up. Seals went in it, parts were very hard to get. Mains water was getting supplied then to every farm in the place, and we got connected to that too, and slowly but surely it took over, and it wasn't expensive that time. It was maybe even free that time, I forget what it was. So the logic of the whole well kind of disappeared then. But now our water is got pretty expensive, and cows drink a lot of water. And not only that, the washing down the milking parlours, just general use alone, it's amazing what you'd use. So this well is laying dormant for the past 25 years, I'd say at least 25 years, possibly 30 years. Right, we have it cleared off a wee bit. We should be able to open it. Knock knock, open wide, see what's on the other side. Knock knock. Ever more come at me through the magic door? That's wrong. It's wrong again, I know. Oh, we have nests. Oh, we definitely have nests up there. Whether they're active or not, I don't know. This is no liner that was on the roof, full of spiders and crap. Yeah, my girls definitely wouldn't come down here. But that'll all have to be ripped down, and the whole thing will have to be insulated. I have no idea what brand it is. I have to be very careful, this roof's going to fall down on top of me. But I don't know, someone could maybe tell me. I'd say my father would know if he was here now. What, it begins with a W. It's got a T in it. So W something T, W-R-T something. But it's a very, very old pump. I'm not even going to turn it on because I can hit that switch and I'm probably sure it would turn on. But it's sitting so long, it's probably seized. The pump's probably seizing as well. That piston there goes back and forth. It looks very corroded and very seized as well. 10 years ago, I did turn it on. I actually lifted the lid off the well, had a look into it, and it looked actually really, really clean. I put a new foot valve in the bottom of it and turned it on, and it actually did pump water. The problem is, the water was leaking through where that piston is. In here, a little plunger that goes back and forth, and it drives the pump. And also, the main problem was it never switched off. It was always leaking a little bit, and these are supposed to build up pressure, pump the water up, and then when the water's turned off above, it's supposed to cut out. And I think the cutting out was the main problem. It had cut out, cut in, cut out, cut in every couple of minutes, and you could see it on the lights up above in the house. It was interfering with the power quite a lot. So it was turned off, and that was that deal done. We look here, see if we have any oil. Dipstick. Oh, we have oil. And we definitely have oil. Maybe it would turn over. Will we try it? Yeah, let's give it a go. Yeah, so she works. She definitely works. After sitting so long, they just don't make stuff like they used to. The motor's good. Might use the motor for something, but I think the most of that pump is finished with. It's a really old pump, and I remember we did look for parts for this and we just couldn't get them. My dad went through a nodes heap of different people and parts just could not be got for them, and we're just told far better put in something new, something fresh. Probably would be much easier in the long run on power consumption as well. There was a socket put in here to hang a red light above the pump whenever there was a frost to stop it from freezing. The light switch is disconnected completely. I actually disconnected that myself. I don't know why, but I remember I disconnected for some reason. It's a long time ago. I'm going to give you a real good tip. If you're ever going to do any grass trimming, one of the best things you ever do is put petrol in your strimmer before you take it out. It makes a huge difference. Right, so we're just back here, just went up to get a bite to eat. I had the tractor down with me this time because we're rolling this paddock as we speak, but multitasking as we say. But there's the lid of that there anyway, and you can see we have an inspection lid on the top. There's a little steel ring comes out of that on the top where you can put a little hook in or grab it with something and just lift it off. But we had this lid off. I can't remember exactly how we lifted it off. I'm sure there is some sort of way of catching it, but we did have it off. The liners themselves were very clean. I remember that much. They were really, really clean, so I was pleased with that. Hopefully when we lift it off again, have a look at it, it'll be equally as clean. There was no moss or algae or any of that stuff growing. It was lovely spring clear water. We'll see what it's like. My kids do not, they're petrified of it, and I don't know why. A lot of people are afraid of wells. I have no idea. Maybe you can explain why, but when you lift it off, some people just do not like that whole concept of a dark hole full of water. I'm going to pull this whole ceiling down. I'm going to insulate the whole walls. I'm going to rewire it, that it's a lot safer and a lot better than the way it is. I'm going to put in some sort of way of heating the place up when there's a frost at night. If we can put a sensor or something that could kick in itself when the temperature would drop and leave it that it comes on automatic, that's the way to go about it, and that's the way I will do it. I am going to go and look for a pump now. I'm not 100% sure on what type of pump I should get, because we're talking about 700 to 1,000 meters of a kind of a uphill, and it's a nice little uphill incline to where we're going with it. Now the pipes are in the ground at the minute. It's an inch pipe, but I noticed the last time about 10 years ago when we run this, although it was leaking like mad, we did get it to work, but the water that came out of it, understandably enough, it was just like pure rust. And I'm wondering, will that clear with time, or is there anything you can put into pipes to clear that out, or would I have to do the worst thing, and that is to have to dig the whole pipe up? It's not the end of the world if we have to, and put a brand new pipe in. Is there any additives you can add? Maybe some of you guys who know about that sort of thing can help us with that. But what sort of pump should we be looking at? What sort of pump would do that? What kind of horsepower would you recommend? Because I did look at pumps, and pumps were in around 600 to 1,000 euro, 600 to 1,000 euro. And I would happily spend that. Sometimes it's nice to get advice, and I know there's a lot of people do watch who maybe have different pumps in, or maybe works in that style of thing there and fits them, could recommend what we should be looking at. But that's what we're going to do. Is for another project. It'll not be on the long finger. It's going to happen very soon. I'm actually going to rip that pump out this weekend if I get the chance. So my idea is to run it up for the time being into a tap into our dairy, and branch it off and put a drinking tap somewhere else as well. But in the long term I want to go and get myself a large tank, because well, we all know the amount of water that fell over the last few months, and it just seems very wasteful for it to be running down the drain while we're paying for water. It just doesn't sound right, and it isn't right. So we should be harvesting our water. Is something I've never got up on my backside and done anything about, and I am going to do that. So I'll probably go and get a couple of big tanks, try get it hooked in, try find a proper pumping system, just try to get an idea of what way we should go about it. This here then could fill that tank and have it full all the time, and at least then the water is free for washing down the parlour, for doing all different types of things. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to tear on here and get me rolling done. Just after washing the silage pit. We're not starting our silage for probably another week and a half yet. It's growing like mad at the minute, so we're not in any rush. Today is the 17th, 18th actually, May. So I'm not in any big massive panic, but we still have to get ready, because when we get the phone call from the contractor, well, it's hard something saying no, so you get what I mean. But anyway, I'm going to get on with it. Thanks very much for watching as always. We'll see you in the next one.